Hey guys, Congresswoman Kat Kamak here, and it is about 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, and I just wanted to give you guys an update about what was going on in Afghanistan. I last spoke to you guys on Thursday, and a lot has happened since then. Our team has been insanely busy, just out of control busy, honestly. Actually, to the point where we're breaking it up into shifts because we're now working 24 hours around the clock. And so, after several of our team members were going for like 16, 18, 20 hours, taking naps in between, really trying to get people out of Afghanistan, we pretty much came up with this system of rotating shifts. So our office is working around the clock, literally, not figuratively, working around the clock trying to get people home. And so I wanted to give you an update as to where we are right now. So I'm going to be looking at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. And quite frankly, my phone has not stopped ringing since all this happened. So you're gonna get it from my phone, as you guys can see. That's my husband. You're gonna hear directly what I am getting, and hopefully answer some of your questions and get you an update about all things going on right now. So here we go. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is what our team is doing to get people out. So we have quite a bit going on right now. A lot that I really cannot share simply because we have put a lot of time and effort and trust into a lot of the people that we are working with on the ground. And we have an active mission going right now to get about 142 people out. That's one group. We have to break them into groups because we have so many people. Now, we had started out with a couple dozen 2 weeks ago that needed to get out. Then it grew to 100, then 200, and it just kept growing to the point we were at 680 some odd, and now we're over 802. And I just got another text message that we're getting dozens in by the hour. You're probably wondering, how in the heck are you guys getting all these people calling you asking for help? Are these American citizens? Who are these people? Here's what has happened. So there are congressional offices all over the country, and every member of Congress has the ability to have a direct line to the Department of State, to the Department of Defense, all federal agencies, and they will go ahead and represent their constituents. Here's where the problem has come in. There are quite a few congressional offices around the country that have just stopped answering their phones. Stopped answering their phones. Now, I don't know about you, but I am so pissed about that. As a member of Congress, we have a duty to answer the call. Doesn't matter what time it comes in, doesn't matter where it comes in from. You answer the call. And in a situation where Americans have been left behind, the thought that any member of Congress would not answer the phone to try to help to get their people home is absolutely insane. So, to that point, we have started getting calls from all over the country, all over the state of Florida, people who have been trying desperately to get in touch with their senators, with their member of Congress, to no avail. So normally in a situation like this, we try to work with our congressional partners and see if they're willing to take those cases. We do the intake, we send the case over to them. It's reached a point where we are so many cases coming in, and we're trying to send them to the respective congressional office. They won't even answer the phone. They're just not doing anything. And I think that their constituents should hold them accountable for that. But we just don't have time. This man in the White House, Biden, has committed to an artificial date that has nothing but a political meaning in mind. And since he cares more about the political end game than the actual lives of American citizens, he is going to continue to go forward with this August 31st deadline to withdraw and have everyone out. all of our military leadership has said that this is not a feasible option. In fact, I have been in briefing after briefing after briefing in front of our military leadership, in front of Secretary Blinken at the State Department, in front of General Milley, in front of all of these people, and they have all said repeatedly, this is not a feasible date. And I will say, even my Democrat colleagues have asked the question, well, is this information getting to the president? And they have assured us that this information is being transferred and shared with the president as part of the decision-making process. So with that in mind, we know that this president, his intent is to leave people behind, because he is demonstrating that through his inaction, his total reliance on the Taliban, and his total disregard for Americans that have been killed in the line of duty, and those that he continues to leave behind without any accommodations for bringing them home. So, as I said, we've got over 800 now in the queue, and we've been getting people back home. We've been getting our Americans put on planes, and they're en route home. But because we are taking in cases from everywhere, I mean, we're getting calls from California. Our team is incredible, you guys. Huge shout out, and please, if you ever get a chance to be in the area in Gainesville, Orange Park, DC, my goodness, please stop in and say hey to these amazing human beings. I mean, I cannot say enough about Dorothy in our office. She's in Orange Park. Christina, Jessica, Valerie, Josh, Dave. I mean, the Antonio. They're all taking shifts to make sure that our phones are covered, our emails are covered, that we are in direct communication with CENTCOM and everything. And if you see my eyes looking crazy, it's because there's a ton of text messages coming in about the operation that is underway right now. So we, at this moment, have a chartered plane that we were able to get out of the Ukraine, and it is actually on the ground in Afghanistan. We are... I can't tell you much more than that because I don't know who all is watching, so I want to be mindful of the safety of those that we're trying to get out. They are American citizens, and so we're going to continue to move groups out like that. We are in touch with CENTCOM. We have been working daily, hourly with Department of State as well as DOD, and we have contacts on the ground that are trying to keep people safe in new locations that the Taliban does not have knowledge of, as well as providing transportation that has gone through multiple layers of inspection, and we keep moving and changing routes, which has been an incredibly time-intensive, frustrating process. I cannot tell you how very, very dangerous the threat environment is right now. So before I jump into the threat environment that we're facing in Afghanistan, which I'm pretty sure you all know and can appreciate, one of the things that I do want to share with you is the process. We made a determination about a week ago that when other members of Congress or senators have opted to not answer the call, as I believe every American should, we made the decision that we would. And so we have been taking in cases, as I said, from all over the country. Jessica took a call a couple hours ago from a woman whose brother is a former Navy SEAL, and they need help getting their folks out. They're in California. Obviously, we don't represent California, but I took an oath to the United States Constitution. And as a federal level representative, I feel a particular duty, a sense of duty to get all of our people out. So if you are in California, if you are in New York, if you are in Illinois, if you are anywhere, and you need help getting your family, a brother, a sister, if you need help getting someone out of Afghanistan who has been left behind, call us. Call us. We are here and we will answer the call. I just did a video maybe a couple hours ago on our congressional side, our congressional Facebook. You can look it up. It's Congresswoman Kat Cammack. If you haven't gone to that page yet, please do. And in there is a link to our official website. It is cammack.house.gov. Again, cammack.house.gov. There is a special tab that is Afghanistan resources. go ahead, click on that. You can actually begin the process, input all the information that we need. It ties right back into our system. It speeds up the process tremendously. We have a team member right now as we speak, literally texting me and saying that he is busy inputting all of the data that we are getting emailed to us. You can help us by submitting that on our website, camac.house.gov. CAMMACK .house, HOUSE.gov. CAMAC, CAMMACK.house.gov. There is that resource, Afghanistan resources. Click on it, fill out those pieces of information, feeds right into our system. We then send that directly to CENTCOM and to DoD. They do all the vetting on all of the passports and everything there. So again, you can call us. If we don't pick up right away, we call you back within the hour. Email is the easiest. Again, you can email us through the website. That goes right into our system, and then we follow up with you to acknowledge that we got your paperwork. Do not send us stuff, your papers through Facebook. That is, you're going to get an email back in the messenger that just says, hey, email us here or go to this link. So you can save yourself time by just going to the website rather than sending us all the stuff through Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger. Trust me, I've received about 1,000 messages just today, and we've been having to refilter and funnel them out. But again, huge shout out to our team who are incredible patriots, and they just want to do right and get people home. I have also gotten a ton, and by a ton I mean probably hundreds of emails and messages about the military police dogs. Sorry guys, I'm about to fall in this chair. The police dogs and the military dogs. We know that quite a bit of them have already made it out. And for those that have been left behind, we have reached out to DoD about the cargo space that often goes unused in these evacuation situations. So we are trying to make sure we get those dogs out too, before anyone starts having a meltdown or gets their you-know-whats in a wad. No, we are not prioritizing dogs over people. We are simply saying that the dogs can go in the cargo holding area where humans cannot. So before some troll in here figures they're going to try to throw me under the bus or something, just recognize that you're being a jerk if you think that we're prioritizing animals over humans, but we do care about the military dogs that have helped save so many lives along the way. So we're very proud of that. We're making sure that we get those incredible service animals out as well. So there's that. On to the equipment side of things. So my friend and colleague, Representative Jim Banks out of the great state of Indiana, he was in a press conference today, and he released some information that a lot of people have been asking about. And I wanted to share it with you guys because I know you have sent me messages, and we are now at a place where it is public knowledge and I can share with you what we know. A lot of questions surrounding the equipment that was left behind by this administration. To date, what has been accounted for is about $85 billion worth of American military equipment. Let me repeat that. $85 billion worth of American military equipment was left behind for the Taliban and other terrorist organizations. I got the breakdown here, and excuse me, I'm having to, I always just want to check my notes. So 75,000 vehicles were left behind. That's Hummers, trucks, you name it, MRAPs. 75,000 vehicles left behind. 200 airplanes and helicopters. Just let that sink in. 200 airplanes and helicopters, and 600,000 small arms and weapons left behind for the Taliban. $85 billion worth of American military equipment. The Taliban now has more Black Hawk helicopters than the entire Australian military. Just let that sink in for a minute. This administration gave the Taliban $85 billion worth of American military grade equipment, and yet here at home They are doing everything that they can to take our Second Amendment rights away, and we're law-abiding citizens. Just let that sink in for a minute. This is how asinine this administration is, and why it is so important that we fight like hell. I'm already starting to get pissed off. I mean, I've been pissed off for weeks, but I'm hitting a whole new level here. So all the more reason why we cannot have this man as commander in chief. I'm not. I just don't even know how we can survive. But that's the emotional part of me. The pragmatic side of me says we can because we have no choice. And I certainly don't like our second option, which would come from Harris. And I damn sure don't like the third option that would come from Pelosi. So I think we're stuck in this moment in time. That doesn't mean that there won't be accountability. Heads are going to roll. There will be absolute accountability. I have already called for the resignation of the president. Since he loves this deadline so much, I figure he should be able to resign by August 31st, because that will mark the day that he has officially left Americans on the battlefield behind. We know right now the threat environment over there is exceptionally high. ISIS-K has established new territory. There have been calls for them to report into Afghanistan. It is a very, very dangerous situation right now. Al-Qaeda has also made a resurgence, and we know that they have been operating in and around the capital city and around the airport. The means by which we're moving our folks around and communicating, we have sources on the ground that are establishing new safe areas where our Americans can wait. Because remember, this administration gave the contact information, not just names and dates and passport information, but locations of safe houses to the Taliban. That's treason. That is treason. And I do not for the life of me understand how the liberal media has allowed this administration to get away with it. We've seen them be critical here the last couple days, but it is absolutely unconscionable. I mean, ludicrous. Pure insanity that the United States government would share sensitive information about American citizens and our allies with a terrorist organization. The same terrorist organization that we were fighting for the last 20 years. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, and this is definitely one of them. But again, one more thing that we will add to the list of items that this administration will be held accountable for. If the buck really stops with him, as he says, if the buck truly stops with him, then he will be responsible for the 13 Marines and the Navy corpsmen who lost their lives. Guys, we're in a mess. I'm not gonna lie, we're in a mess. But as I said, we will not give up. We never give up, because Americans, we're about grit. We always get back up. We always get back up. And we will come back from this too. No one will be left behind. I promise you that. We are working our asses off. I don't even know what else we could do beyond what our team is doing, and you guys should be so proud of the Fighting Third, the team of the Fighting Third in our Gainesville, our Orange Park office, our DC office. I mean, they're just incredible. I could get emotional thinking about it. But I do want to talk about something that you can do to help us. As I said, none of these congressional offices are not all. There's a good chunk of my colleagues that are answering the call, and they're working cases, and they're doing exactly what we're doing. So it's not just us. But there's definitely a handful of offices around the country that are not answering the calls. So how you can help, because I keep getting messages, how can we help? I need everyone to call their member of Congress and their senators. And I need you to demand, in a very polite way, but you need to demand how many cases your member of Congress and your senator are working. And let me tell you why. So it fluctuates, but what that number does is it helps us establish a baseline collectively across the country of how many people we have still in country, because then that helps us in Congress really formulate the operational needs moving forward to get our remaining people out. Because this president has refused to give a number of how many people have been left behind. Has it been 1,000 Americans that he left behind? 10,000? 40,000? No one knows. And they have refused to give that information out. We don't know if that is because they think there's an operational risk there, or if it's because they simply are so effing incompetent that they just don't have the number. Now, I'm leaning towards incompetence, because strategy and contingency plans, this administration knows nothing about. Nothing. So I am guessing that this administration does not know the number, which is why they will not provide us with one. So when you call a member of Congress, you can ask them, how many people are you working to get out of Afghanistan? Your SIVs, your American citizens, how many are you working? That it's not going to be an exact science. We know that. But if we had a ballpark, with even a large margin of error, that would give us more than what we've been able to get out of the Department of State and out of the White House. That is something that every member of Congress should be willing to give. I publicly put out the call on Thursday for every member of Congress to release the number that they were working on. Our number on Thursday was 687. Today it is over 802. Again, it changes every day, but it's pretty steady going up and down like this, because we are getting people out, but then we're getting more because people aren't answering the damn phones. So that right there would be a tremendous help. You can do that with your senators as well. I know the senators have been working a lot to try to get people out. That is a huge help. You can call their DC office, call their district offices. You can send emails. You can go through their website. You can send faxes. Go on their social media pages. Ask them, how many people does your office working to get out? That is so helpful. That's going to be a huge thing. And quite frankly, our team is 100% covered up with trying to get our folks out. So we are eternally grateful for you guys going out and making those calls to those members of Congress out there. And thank you for doing that in advance. The other thing is I have called for us to get back into a special session. Several of my colleagues and I, we feel very important or very, very strongly that this is an important thing to do. Congress should not be in recess while there are Americans left behind on a battlefield to die. It seems pretty simple to me. We should be in Congress, in session, fighting to hold this administration accountable and taking action where he refuses not to. So my feeling, again, very simple. No member of Congress should be on vacation while Americans have been left behind in Afghanistan. So another thing, call your member, ask them how many cases they're working, encourage them to go back into session, I'm sorry. The only person who can actually call Congress back into session is Nancy Pelosi. As Speaker of the House, she is the only one who can call us back into session. That is a very frustrating aspect of this job, but the more pressure we can put on Nancy Pelosi to get us back into session, that is going to mean lives will be saved. We will be able to get people out. So please call Nancy Pelosi, call your member of Congress and ask them to please call us back into session. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything in my notes here, guys. And I know it's getting late. Yes. So final thing, not related to the Afghanistan situation. There is a Category 4 storm heading to Louisiana right now. We are no stranger to hurricanes in Louisiana or Florida, Alabama, Texas. We are no stranger at all. But there is a Category 4 storm, which is going to bring about a 10 to 15 foot tidal wave surge. Now, as you guys already know, I am the ranking member for FEMA and have been in touch with my Louisiana colleagues, making sure that they have all the resources that they need. They got hit with a storm so hard last year. They're still reeling and trying to rebuild from that. So we've touched base with them. We have touched base with FEMA, and we are going to be helping them as they hunker down and prepare for that storm. And then, of course, in the immediate aftermath. So please say a prayer for our brothers and sisters in Louisiana. Man, they need it. The world needs a lot of prayers right now. But again, we're strong, we're resilient, and we will make it through. So I think that was pretty much the update on who we're getting out, how we're getting them out, the inventory and equipment that has been left behind, and the threat assessment that still exists there in Afghanistan. We have been advising our folks, even if you are if you're working with some contractors, if you're working with other folks to get out, we have been advised that it is very, very dangerous up at the gates right now. So wait until you have CENTCOM and a representative from CENTCOM who calls you in country and says, we're ready to take you at the gate. You do not want to be standing at the gates waiting to get through. So please, for your safety, for your friends and family safety, anybody who is over there right now, tell them not to approach the gate until they have gotten a call from CENTCOM to come through, because there's such an extraordinarily high threat level right now. Also, I would be remiss. I have seen a lot of fundraising activity for nonprofits that are working to get people out of Afghanistan. Make sure that the nonprofits that you are donating to have been vetted and accepted by the Department of Defense. You cannot get a plane into Afghanistan unless it has cleared DOD. Do not fall for some of these organizations that are saying they're getting people out. A lot of them are not. That list of approved DOD NGOs that are moving people in and out, it is a very, very short list. So please, please, please do not donate your hard-earned money to organizations that have no intention of using that money to get Americans out. Make sure you are giving to a DOD accredited, approved NGO that can send charters in. Just putting that out there, because I have already seen so many of these organizations asking for money, raising thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're not even on the damn list. And to me, I think you are an awful piece of shit if you take people's money in a time of tragedy. That's pretty awful. I also think there's some members of Congress out there who have been fundraising, saying they're fighting the good fight out there, bringing our Americans home. They're fundraising off of that. If you are a candidate for office and you're fundraising off of this, you too are a piece of shit. So that's what I have to say about that. But yeah, this is a frustrating situation, but we are going to continue to keep our heads down, keep working on it. Something else you can do to help: share this video. Share it, because you never know who sees it, and if they are looking for a way to get a family member or a loved one, somebody that they know in Afghanistan home, this could be helpful. Like I said, we've been getting calls and emails from all over the country. A lot of people have seen the videos and the information. Again, camac.house.gov. There is an Afghanistan resources tab there, and the priority is absolutely American citizens. We have been doing nothing but getting American citizens home, and SIVs, those are your special immigrant visa holders, those are your translators, and we will not stop until we get people home. I don't care what deadline this guy in the White House sets, but we're going to keep on bringing our people home. So with that, I'm going to flip through. I'm going to try to take some questions here. Judy says there's a lot of scammers on Facebook right now. Yes, Judy, there are so many scammers on Facebook right now. So again, you can go on DOD, I think it's dod.gov or dod.mil, and they have a list of approved NGOs that you can donate to. There's so much crap on Facebook, and I will look to find the list and post it as well. So just, again, be very wary of some of these groups that are raising money. Let me see. There's some really mean people on here, but that's all right. Let me see. Ooh, sorry, guys. Yes, hurricane is supposed to hit as a category 4. It's in New Orleans. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out again. This is a huge storm. A category 4 is a big, big storm. So please make sure you're praying for Louisiana. Um, I'm seeing if there's some other. Is there any hope of recovering the equipment or at least destroying it? To give you the no bullshit answer, I think Richie asked. I can't share. I can't share that information. One, because I only have one piece of it. Being on Homeland Security, I am privy to a lot of information from the intelligence community, but that doesn't mean that I'm privy to it all. And I'm certainly not privy to all of the operational aspects of what the military and the Joint Chiefs have been working on. So the answer is I cannot share what I know, but there's also a lot that I don't know about the plans. But our plan as members of Congress moving forward after we have brought everyone home and we start taking the massive task on about getting resignations and holding this administration accountable is to have a plan of really figuring out ways we can destroy that equipment, because bringing it home, we don't have the capability or the means. So something you've probably been hearing about on the news a lot, guys, is how Bagram, which is about 70 miles outside of the capital city of Kabul, or Kabul, however you want to say it, that was the primary logistics hub. That was the most fortified primary logistics hub. It had 2 runways. It had ramps. You could accommodate 15 to 20 C-17s. It had all the fueling capabilities. It was our relief valve, and it's really what we should have kept. The notion that we transferred this to the Afghans is bullshit. We abandon it because to transfer implies that the person receiving is aware. The Afghans had no clue that they were taking this over. Our NATO allies had no clue that we were leaving. Again, all the more reason that points to the total incompetence of this administration and their withdrawal. Also, when it comes to the intel collection side of things, that helps us keep a pulse and really what's going on. Our embassy. Our embassy was our main means of intelligence collection. So when we evacuated that and gave that up, we shredded passports for people who had been waiting for passports. We shredded all the documents. We destroyed equipment in there, but we left in such a rush. I mean, it was incredible. There's no telling what has been left behind. And we also burned a lot of our intelligence collection capabilities. So in a lot of ways, we're operating blind. This whole over-the-horizon nonsense that the president is spewing, it's bullshit. And I'm not afraid to call it out for what it is. It's bullshit. This is getting to be a pretty long video, but yeah, I don't know how else to answer that. Let me see. Any other... Gail, ignore the mean haters. Now, I know people who just want to talk crap when there's a crisis going on and play Monday morning quarterback. They're somewhere in their mother's basement. Let me see. Yes, Diana. Hey, thanks for being on here, Diana. Yes, I will get a hold of that DoD list and post that so you guys know who is doing work that is approved from the DoD. And again, please share. This is so helpful when you guys share, because there's so many people out there looking for help, looking for resources, and we want to at least give them an opportunity to get their paperwork to the DoD, and then the DoD takes it from there. Sandra, oh yes, the animal rescue. I mentioned this a little bit ago. We've already contacted DoD about the cargo spaces. There is a lot of these charter flights that are flying out. They're flying out with empty cargo. Their cargo spaces are empty, so they're making a point to try to evacuate our military and police dogs and such. So that's happening. Let me see. I'm just trying to look for questions. Thank you guys for everyone who's writing very nice comments, and thank you for saying so many nice things about our team. Thank you. Our team does read these comments, and it's very encouraging when they see people recognizing and appreciating the work that they do. So I cannot say enough about our team. They are quite literally saving lives right now, and it just makes me so proud. Let me see. I love my Florida folks. Well, thanks, Don. We love being Floridians. Yes, the storms are coming. Thank you guys so much for praying for our friends in Louisiana. We are really, really nervous about that storm. It should be hitting in about 36 hours. So we are going to be keeping track on that. Karen, exactly. No one should be on vacation at this time. Exactly. Yeah. If you're on vacation and Americans are dying in Afghanistan right now, then there's a problem. So we need to get our asses back to DC and do the work that the American people elected us to do, because they deserve to know that their elected leaders, all the way to the commander-in-chief, are not on vacation. They're actually doing their damn jobs. And I can tell you, we've been doing our damn job. I can't say the same for all my colleagues. You guys have probably picked up. I'm pretty fiery about this right now. Who represents Clay County? We do. Website. Someone just asked in here again about that website. CAMAC, CAMMACK.house.gov. There is a tab. It says Afghanistan Resources. Click on that. There is a whole portal that you can drop information for Americans that need to be evacuated. And I will say this. We have been contacted by German citizens as well as Canadian citizens. They have been left behind as well. And so we are trying to make arrangements with our Canadian and German partners through consulates and the embassies. And this just, again, points to how poorly this entire withdrawal was. There was nothing safe or orderly about this. There was nothing planned about this. And it is just, the incompetence is staggering. So just, again, if you know of someone, share the video, get them the information so that we can start funneling information into DOD. Let me see. I'm looking. John, unbelievable, sharing info on our citizens with the Taliban. You've got to be shitting me. I know you bleeped out shitting, but I'm going to say it because, damn it, this is my Facebook Live. So, yes, it has been confirmed, and it has been widely reported that this administration gave the personal information of American citizens and our allies to the Taliban. To the Taliban. The Taliban are enemies who we have fought for the last 20 years. This administration thought it would be a good idea to give them that information because they thought that it would expedite them through the checkpoints, but instead what it did was it made them targets. And so not only have we lost safe houses, we have lost Marines and a Navy corpsman, we have lost innocent civilians in all this, and we have been getting reports of American citizens being beaten, their papers being destroyed, lit on fire right in front of them. We have videos that have been sent to us. And by the way, if you have videos or anything, you can send those to us from the ground. What's happening there, we send that on to the intelligence community as well as the Intel Committee. All this goes into the upcoming investigation that will go on. But yeah, I mean, we know that that's an act of treason to give information like that to the enemy. And I will tell you that there are now checkpoints where the Taliban, if they don't burn your documents or take your documents, they will extort you for everything you've got. So it is such a bad situation right now, and I still can't believe that happened. But yes, John, this government, they shared our information with the Taliban. So, yes, Phyllis, we are in a mess. Heads should roll. Thank you again. Thank you for loving on our team. Seriously. let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I had to adjust here for a second. So a lot of people have asked about. A lot of people have asked about a military tribunal and court martialing. This is a constitutional matter. So the commander in chief is a civilian. Even the secretary of defense is a civilian, and Congress had to pass a waiver to allow Secretary Austin to even be eligible to be Secretary of Defense. You have to be out of the military for a certain number of years. I believe it is 6 years. He had only been out for 2. And there is a very rarely used process, a waiver, that Congress has to approve. I voted against the waiver because I thought he was not a strong combatant commander when he was active duty military. I looked into a lot of his work as an active duty service member, and I wasn't impressed. I did not like it. I learned a lot about his leadership style and the decisions that he made when I was at the United States Naval War College. He, in my opinion, was not the right fit, and I'll leave it there. I think what you're seeing right now in Afghanistan is a reflection of what his career and his decision making has been. When you look at the commander-in-chief is a civilian. So while he is absolutely in charge of armed forces, he is a civilian. So it's a different process. And I know that people have been asking for a number of different things, from court martialing to impeachment, you name it. Just remember who's 1, 2, and 3 in the line of succession here. That's just something that I wanted to make sure that we addressed. And I'm gonna take one more question. You guys cannot believe how many dang text messages I am getting right now. As I said, there is an operation that is underway right now, and we are. I'm so sorry. I'm again just dealing with the situation on the ground right now. But I'll take one more. Connie, why couldn't they fly the planes and helicopters out of there? That's a great question. One that I don't have the answer to, but again, there will be, believe me, there will be consequences. There will be investigations. There will be so many questions that have already been asked that this administration has refused to answer. So just imagine when the Republicans take the House back, and believe me, we are taking the House back. We are working extraordinarily hard to make sure that we take the House back, because elections have consequences, and we are seeing the consequence of this last election. But let me see here. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. I know you guys are so mad. I know you guys are so upset. I am too. But the most important thing that we need to do right now is keep pushing to get our people out. We just have to keep on pushing to get our people out. That's the most important thing. There's going to be a lot of time for finger pointing and blaming and really all of it later. So channel that rage, channel that anger and frustration, and help us get the numbers from all the congressional offices. Help put pressure to call Congress back into session. Use your voice. It is your First Amendment right, and that is what we are fighting to protect here, is our Constitution. And your First Amendment right to petition your government by calling and emailing and texting and putting notes on their Facebook, that is your right. Use it. Because let me tell you, there are people all around this globe that are fighting tooth and nail to get to this country for that right. So let's exercise it. With that, guys, I've been on here for quite a bit, so I don't want to take up any more time, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for supporting our team. Thank you for supporting our mission in getting these folks home. I know it's a lot to take in, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot tell you what it means to have y'all's support. Thank you for having our backs. And for our crew that is taking the night shift of running applications and doing all this stuff in our office, they're reading these comments here on Facebook. They see this, and it means a lot. It really does. And just remember that there's always hope. There's always hope. And in a time of crisis, look for the helpers. We want to be a helper. Thank you guys so much. Good night, and we'll talk to you soon.